The shocking death of Charlie Kirk has left America asking hard questions. Why was this young conservative activist, who built his name on campuses and in political circles, gunned down? And more importantly, what does his death say about the future of politics in a nation already deeply divided? Today we dive into Kirk's controversial legacy, the battles he fought in the culture wars, and how his assassination highlights the dangerous rise of political polarization in America. Charlie Kirk's career was anything but ordinary. At just 18 years old, he co-founded Turning Point USA, a conservative organization that quickly became a force on college campuses across the country. To his supporters, he was a fighter for free markets, traditional values, and American patriotism. To his critics, he was a provocateur who thrived on division and spread ideas that fueled anger, resentment, and even hate. It was this sharp divide, admiration on one side and outrage on the other, that defined his rise and, many argue, set the stage for the tragedy that ultimately took his life. Much of the controversy surrounding Kirk came from his words. He frequently pushed claims about the 2020 election, insisting that it was stolen from Donald Trump, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. He also spread misinformation about COVID-19, downplaying the pandemic's severity and questioning vaccines. While these stances won him applause from a segment of the conservative base, they also made him a lightning rod for criticism. For many, Kirk symbolized how misinformation could be weaponized in the political arena. Accusations of anti-Semitism added fuel to the fire. Kirk was linked to the promotion of replacement theory, a conspiracy suggesting that elites and Jewish figures were plotting to replace white Americans. He even accused prominent philanthropists of financing what he called anti-whiteness campaigns. To critics, these statements were more than controversial. They were dangerous, echoing extremist rhetoric that has inspired violence before. Kirk's stance on LGBTQ+ issues further cemented his polarizing reputation. He staunchly opposed same-sex marriage and gender-affirming healthcare, going as far as to argue that Americans should have the legal right to burn Pride and Black Lives Matter flags. His speeches often framed issues of race and identity in ways that downplayed systemic racism and sometimes portrayed minorities as aggressors against white Americans. To his audience of loyal supporters, this was fearless truth-telling. To others, it was divisive rhetoric that deepened already painful divides. And yet, despite, or perhaps because of, these controversies, Kirk wielded enormous influence. Turning Point USA gave him a platform to rally young conservatives, making him a central figure in the so-called culture wars. His campus events regularly drew huge crowds, sparking heated debates and protests wherever he went. Online, his following was massive, with viral clips spreading his ideas far beyond the lecture halls. In a media landscape where outrage fuels attention, Kirk had mastered the art of staying in the spotlight. But being a symbol of division comes at a cost. Kirk's opponents saw him not just as someone they disagreed with, but as a threat to democracy, public health, and civil rights. His allies viewed him as a warrior under attack by the left and mainstream institutions. When politics becomes this polarized, individuals like Kirk stop being just people. They become symbols. And when someone is turned into a symbol, the risk of real-world violence grows. This is why his assassination is more than just the tragic end of one man's life. It reflects the broader dangers of a society where political disagreement increasingly turns into hostility, and hostility into violence. Experts have warned for years that when rhetoric paints opponents as enemies, it creates a climate where violence feels justified. Charlie Kirk's death is a chilling reminder that those warnings were not abstract. The larger question now is what comes next. If you want to keep up with the latest analysis and reflections on critical issues like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation in the comments. Together, we can reflect, learn, and maybe find a way toward a future less divided.